A popular original from 2014 is back for the very first time as a Protro. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and breakdown on these bad boys right here. This is the Nike Kobe 9 Low Elite Protro, and this, my friends, is the Moonwalker edition. Ooh. The shoe features some of the greatest traction of all time. This guy right here performed excellent. At least it performs excellent while it lasts. That's the only thing that I'll knock it, is that these grooves and everything like that, they're so thin, they're so soft that they will break off from the shoe rather quickly. If you guys remember the Protro performance review of the Halo colorway, my heel already was missing like chunks of traction, which is crazy. That did happen on some of the originals, so it's not like too far from like what actually occurred back in the day, but you know, it just is what it is. All I'll say is that this traction right here was so good that it was reused. Yes, reused. On a shoe that wasn't even Kobe's. It was Paul George's shoe, the PG5s. That was weird, but cool. It begged the question of like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like, should we be placing something that you know is tried and true just on everything? And we've had that discussion many times here on this channel, and it always kind of varies. Some people say yes, some people say no, so either way, outside of the traction being awesome, we've got a moon graphic right here, like the surface of the moon. And again, it was kind of like to depict, at least originally, I don't know if this is like super accurate because I don't think that they were allowed to use his name, but supposedly the theme is Michael Jackson, the moonwalk dance, moonwalk on the soles, the sliding and gliding, all of that kind of good stuff. Although you probably wouldn't be able to do that in this traction. This traction's so good. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Now moving on up, we've got carbon fiber panels on the midsole, which is actually not the midsole, it's just a shell. The midsole's inside the shoe, it's a drop-in midsole. It's a React midsole. I'm surprised that they didn't even change the color. Like they like took the Halo and they were just like, we're making a ton of these. We're gonna put them in everything. But either way, that's the actual midsole. That's housed within the external midsole, which is more of a support feature, hence the carbon fiber panels. The way that it feels is pretty good. I would say that the React in this feels a lot better than the Kobe 8 Protro, especially once you start moving around in them. The entire shoe actually feels a lot better than the Kobe 8 Protro. I just, for some reason, don't like playing in the Protro version of the Kobe 8s, despite loving the originals. Whereas the Kobe 9 Elite Protros, the low top specifically, they're pretty similar to the original, I would say at least. The only thing that I had a problem with my personal pair was just the fit, but that seems to be fixed with this one, so I'm not sure if they did something different. All I know is that they fit a little bit different in a good way. Now the upper on these guys is full on Flyknit. This is what I used to call crispy Flyknit because, you know what I mean? It doesn't sound like a sock or a knit or anything like that. Basically because there's a ton of glue and TPU all up in this thing. It makes the knit not really a knit. It kind of like negates the whole like reason for using a knit. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that you retain is the lightweight aspect, and I suppose the break-in process, but even then, like, they bow and flex all weird. It was always just like a weird era for Flyknit in terms of performance, because the running Flyknit obviously was more natural and more free, more like the knit the way that it's supposed to be. And then the knit here, they would always describe it as it's zoned, so it's got like stronger parts, and then it's got more flexible parts and all that stuff, but that was all just BS marketing because the whole thing, like I said, is just covered in glue and TPU and all of that stuff, so it all feels crispy. Now I do have the originals of these things somewhere, and I'm embarrassed to admit that because I thought that I knew where they were, but I don't know where they went. They sure didn't moonwalk up out of my house, I'll tell you that. At least they better not have. I don't know where they're at, but I wanted to grab a pair just to kind of like see what the color differences were, and I can't, so I apologize. I think that kind of irks me. I know where all my stuff is. Why do I keep losing things? Like I couldn't find my Aqua 8s. I know where I put those last. Are there like shoe gnomes all of a sudden?
Maybe. Cobblers.
But based off of what I remember, the overall color and stuff, like, I think that they're pretty similar. These do look a little bit brighter, but also I haven't seen the original, like, in a minute. So, yeah. One thing to note, though, is that the tongue is pretty awesome, at least the base of the tongue, the part that rests on your foot. It's very similar to Nike's Torch material, even though it's not the same, but it's fairly similar. It's an open-celled mesh with a lot of padding, and then inside that padding, there are little diamond cutouts for ventilation. I would say that's damn near almost the same as Nike's Torch tongues, but obviously just a different pattern. And then the top of the tongue right here, this is the one thing that I definitely wanted to compare with the originals, because I swear the originals are like thicker and puffier, and these guys just feel like very thin and streamlined. And I don't say that to like be negative, it's just I think that this feels a little bit better, to be honest. Like I remember the other ones or the originals just being like absurdly big. especially for a low. And these just feel a lot nicer and just, like I said, just more streamlined. So it just feels like it like matches the shoe and the overall aesthetic a little bit better. On the rear of the shoe, we've got little reflective details right there, which are supposed to signify the stitching from Kobe's Achilles injury. And they are on both shoes, by the way. So I thought that that was pretty dope. And then like I alluded to earlier, in terms of overall fit and sizing, these just feel better than the Halos that I had played in. So I would go true to size for most people. Obviously, if you're a wide footer, if possible, try them on in store. But I do feel like they had like a really just kind of like neutral fit, to me at least, because my other ones, my Halos, just, they were extremely snug and tight. So again, I don't know if they changed something in between the two releases or not, but that's just how they feel. So true to size for most, and I think that you guys will be good to go. And if you're local to the Sacramento or Elk Grove area and you were interested in grabbing a pair of these, they will be having them available at Phenom. They have 2 locations here, one in the Doco Shopping Center and then one in Elk Grove. Make sure that you follow them over at Instagram, simply at Phenom Global, so that you know what their launch procedure is going to be like. It'll either be a raffle or first come, first serve. You just never know. They always like to keep everybody on their toes to make sure that bots don't affect any releases. But with all of that being said, what is today's viewer submitted question of the day?
What's a pair of shoes you would kill to have get a retro? And what's a pair you also would kill to stop getting retros of?
There are lots of shoes actually that I would love to see retros of.
You only get one.
No.
He even said only one.
Nope, changing the rules,
I had
man.
taken it out of there. He said just one pair with an exclamation point to make it difficult for you.
He said that?
Yes.
You're not adding that in there?
No.
Oh, come on, man. Dude, can I just have 2?
If you can only keep it at 2.
Sure. Okay, so the first one is like, usually like it's one of the first ones to come to mind. It's a shoe that a lot of people I don't know if they like are calling for it, you know what I mean? Because we've gotten retros of the lows, even though they're mids. And then they've changed those lows or mids to actual lows recently, which is weird, but it's the Nike Airfly 89, the original one, like the original version. Basically, they are super duper high tops, and I just think that they look fucking cool. I would love that to come back, true to form, with great materials, perfect shape, all of that stuff. Will that ever happen? I mean, it's not looking good, you know what I mean? So I doubt that that's gonna happen. My runner-up was actually a full-on, and I know that these were performance like back in the day in the 80s and stuff, but like this one is more, if you were to bring them back today, I feel like they would still be fairly relevant as far as like overall performance goes. But the Nike Viz Zoom Up Tempos, I want those so bad you don't even know. Those are just one of those weird shoes that, or I wouldn't even say that they're weird, they were just dope. It was the first basketball shoe with visible zoom air. It was so sick, and they had side panels done up in color that were very similar material to the teeth of the Air Jordan 14s. There was also an up-tempo version, which these are a zoom up-tempo, but there was an air-based up-tempo called the holistic up-tempos, and those were really sick too. I'm not calling for a retro on that, I'm just saying like it was dope. It was a dope time, and if I was gonna throw out a couple more.
Nope.
I was just gonna throw out a couple more. Come on.
Now you have to come up with the shoe that you are.
That I would like to see never retroed again?
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably piss off people because it's like a staple, but like I'm tired of just seeing shelves and shelves of Air Force Ones, man. And I know that we could say that about any shoe that looks like that. So like you can consider the Dunk, you can consider the Jordan 1, all that stuff, even though I just love Jordan 1s, and I get it, but like that's just a shoe where I'm just like, really? I feel like we should keep the all whites and the all blacks and then just kind of, that's it. I don't know why there's 50 million colorways of an Air Force One or a Dunk or a Jordan 1. Like it seems so odd, especially now when people aren't really buying them. And so I thought we were moving to zero. I swear this is that brand, right? So like to me, I'm just like, I feel like that's waste. So yeah, what about you guys? Sound off below and let us know. On top of all of that, are you interested in the Nike Kobe 9 Low Elite Moonwalker Protro? Sorry, forgot a word, my bad. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. We greatly appreciate it. We'll catch y'all in the next one. So until then, y'all have a good one.